Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Flying High on Consciousness podcast. This is Jill Alana from Jai Incorporated. Jai meaning victory, which is one of the main intentions of this podcast is to help you become the victor of your life. I help you leverage the quantum and code you to become an energetic match to your manifestations so that they manifest as a byproduct of your frequency. With my online programs, energy healing trainings, in-person retreats, and private intention coding sessions, I facilitate liberation work, also known as trauma healing, to allow beautiful souls to have the tools to build their dream life. By combining 13 deep integrative healing modalities, I have developed a unique trauma transmutation formula in which I use to unlock the energetic shackles that had been holding you back. Then I use activations to code you to the frequency of your intentions. Through this formula, I have helped hundreds, soon to be thousands of people manifest their dream relationship, next level wealth, dream job, dream apartment, perfect health, and a life beyond what they could have imagined. The intention of this podcast is to start to demystify the quantum, to share stories for inspiration, to prove what's possible when you do this work, to bridge the gap between science and spirituality, and to give you golden nuggets on manifestation that you can start to integrate and implement into your life. And of course, as I said, to help you become the victor of your life and really create your dreams with these tools and inspiring stories. Without further ado, let's go to the show.
Yay! Okay, there we are. So we have a free 3-day master series in October, all about abundance, soul-aligned abundance, what that is, what stops people. I'm going to be doing a shamanic clearing for that as well for any imprints. So if you're watching this on Patrick's page, sign up through his link in the bio. If you're watching it through mine, my link is in the bio for the master series, and you get the replays for a week. So if you cannot make it live, then you get them available for a week. So sign up. If you don't sign up, the replays will not be available. Okay. Patrick, I'm so glad to see you and to have this beautiful conversation about such a, what's the word? The topic that like nobody likes talking about, and spiritual leaders are like brainwashed to believe is not important to keep us weak. Yeah. Karina. So thank you for joining me for this.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you want to, I think we should talk about that first, actually, how nobody likes talking about this in the spiritual community and why that actually is. And then I would like to go into like how abundance is actually, like soul-aligned abundance is actually about soul growth. And
yeah.
Hi, beautiful Karina. It's so good to see you. And how so many people misconceive that. So yeah, I'll put the floor over to you first because I can talk for everybody knows that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of misconstrued about money and abundance in the world. Honestly, I surround myself with people that want to build more abundance in their life because I see the impact that they can make from it. The Tony Robbins community, the different communities I'm part of, they do have this methodology, but I don't think that's largely the entire world yet. But I still see so many people in my community as well as just our community in general struggling with money, with abundance, and it's just energy. And it's actually just a number in a computer at this point. Like it's not backed by anything. It's kind of crazy, right? It's literally just a number in a computer, except it controls our entire life. It controls how we feel. If we have money in our bank account, we feel better. And if we don't, like we're afraid that we can't pay our rent, we can't buy food, we can't build our business. And it controls our emotional state. And it's like this prison that we're living in that I want all my people out of this. Like that's the goal. Like all my people out of it so that we can really go out I was at the bathhouse in Brooklyn this past weekend. I was like, I want to build more of these type of places for people. I want to build places where people get together. I want to build farms. I want to build things that help people expand. But I can't do it, as well as other people around me can't do it if they don't have cash coming in and the abundance feeling in their body. So definitely interested to learn
Yeah.
from you, like how to clear this, how to like help people grow and expand into a fully abundant lifestyle that
Yeah.
allows them to live out their soul mission.
So this is like there's so many things I have to say on what you talked about. Like, there's so many traps. You guys have to realize, like, for those of you who want soul growth and are part of spiritual communities, as I am, it is a trap thinking that money is bad, money is evil. We are taught this in like in school, in the movies, like, don't talk about it, there's shame about it. It is all to control us, because the people teaching us that, those constructs, are the people running the world. And so this is really an inside out job. I was so afraid of talking about this for so long, and I built my business like in really truly soul alignment, because I have this thing in one of my courses called Surrendering into Abundance. It's not open right now, but it will be open in October. That I created like 3 categories, and one of the categories is dirty money, and that's when people are hurting people to receive money. That's ego money, and like you said, money is energy, so we have to do it in a soul aligned way for it to be sustainable and not fuck up other areas of our life. That being said, our greatest pathway to abundance is our gifts. And one of my coaches, I was struggling because I'm a shamanic healer, and I teach manifestation and the energetics of abundance and sacred union, and they're all very, very similar. Because the energy of God, source, is the energy of the masculine, and provision and money. So I was really struggling because I didn't feel like I had the resources, and I felt guilty for charging for my gifts. And one of my coaches said, the people who told you were noble for discounting your prices knew how to make healers weak. And it hit me on such a deep level. And I was like, oh my God. And it was making me weak. It was making me weak. It was making me sick. It was making me not provided for to do my craft, to hone my skills. And as I started to unravel this and clear the traumas, it is so key, clearing the traumas, because we can know all these concepts, but if we haven't cleared it from the body, aka my favorite is shamanic healing and breath work, and then I processes that I use for this too, to rewire the unconscious mind, but you have to work with both. Then you won't, it doesn't matter how much you know, it matters the wisdom in your body. And so that's how we've been able to reach like unrealistic levels, especially in a healing business, and continue to scale. That's sustainable. But the trap that gets so many people in the spiritual community is having resources, or having money is bad. Money is bad, okay? And it's a trap, and it's a construct, and I'm not here for it. And the people telling you that stuff are the people who don't actually want you to have abundance, or money or wealth, because they haven't done their own healing. So they're in power constructs and want to have you as a slave. And so, okay. The journey of soul aligned abundance is truly the journey of the soul and the soul expansion. And so as we start to see these traumas and these constructs, and we heal those and we expand our field, we're able to receive more abundance, and we're actually able to come back to our natural soul blueprint, our crystalline blueprint, which is abundance. If you look at a papaya, you open the papaya and there's like hundreds of papaya seeds. You can eat the papaya, and you can plant even half of the seeds, and it'll grow a bunch of more papaya plants, which have more papayas and more seeds. And there's more and more and more and more. We are by default abundant by nature. It's these constructs and these traumas that have made us seem like we're not, like we don't have the resources. And when people start to understand it, especially people who want to change the world, because I'm really not here to work with like people who are just wanting to make money. for ego purposes to cover up a trauma that they don't want to heal because like this work won't work for them because it's all in soul alignment. But when people who are like really wanting to change the world and really wanting to expand their soul and really wanting to help come into this new blueprint, actually our natural blueprint of the world and community, and realizing that we are abundant by nature, then I'm all here for helping them and teaching them all of these things. And like the core of it is so simple, guys. It's like we find the traumas, we heal those traumas, we heal the areas that you were told that there's not enough. That's a memory that's implanted in your unconscious mind, aka the body, that is now running your life. There's never enough. There's never enough. Even if you have $1 billion and you haven't healed that imprint, there still will be the belief running that there's never enough, and you won't actually be in abundance. You'll be in scarcity. I've seen it. I know billionaires who are still in scarcity. Hi, Kyle. Good to see you. So like, this is where it's like bridging that gap between business and soul alignment and mission. And they're actually all at the very core, like the same thing. It's finding the imprints. So you guys should definitely come if you feel like you have any, and I'll share some common imprints. Come, because I'm going to do an imprint clearing so you can see where some of these beliefs came from and start to shift and alchemize them. And as you do this, your life will begin to change. When I started my business, I was making $400 a month. In the first year, within doing this work, this trauma healing work specific to money, I had a 20K day. I don't know how far into this into the year, and then we had a $98,000 year in our first year, all soul aligned, all helping people. And then the second year we 2.5x that. And so it's like doing when you do the core imprint work, you start to realize the patterns that have been running your life. Another one is that's really common is having shame around money. Oh my God, or guilt around it. Did I have to clear those patterns? That's trauma in your sacral. And it can be one comment from childhood that has been running your life when you feel like not safe or being not safe with money, not talking about it, not looking at your finances. How many people don't look at their finances? Well, money is an energy. It's a being. It's literally, it's a relationship. It's like you wouldn't want to have a partner who are like, you're like, I never want to look at you.
Yeah.
And then you're like pissed off because you're like, you're never here for me when I need you. There's never enough. You're like, no, actually, like you would want a partner that like loves looking at you, that's intimate with you, that is there for you, that has your back. This is also the relationship you can have with money and you get to have with money.
Yeah.
And this is why I love teaching this, especially to healers and visionaries that really want to change the world, because this is the biggest thing that I see holds them back. They have the biggest hearts. And I get it. I was living off $25 of groceries a few years ago. I was super sick. I look at photos and I'm like, oh my God. And Source actually put me in the hospital, not once, but twice, to learn how to receive and to be forced to start looking at this stuff and healing it. And like, wow, I didn't know it was possible when that happened. But you don't need to suffer. You don't need to this, and then this like competition. It's like being in a relationship too and being like, oh, I'm competing with like all the other girls for my partner's attention. Like, ew, who wants that? No, money's the same thing. We don't need to compete with it. There's more than enough to go around. There's more than enough to go around.
Yes.
Sorry, I just went on a whole thing. Wealth rarely ever dwells in confusion or filth. Yeah, and this is another thing. Like, we think the people that like are wealthy and abundant, we're like, they're always thinking about money. They don't think about money. When all of a sudden it was like, oh, I actually have more than I need. That was another pattern I had to shift. I could always just have enough, but not overflow. When I shifted that, I had my biggest month ever. It was more than a lot of like my friends who have their masters making a year. And I was like, holy Toledo, again, all soul aligned, all mission related, all in helping people. But when we realize we are resourced, and it doesn't even have to just come in the way of money, it can come in the way of gifts or resources or provision from other people in terms of like, oh, they provided me a place to stay. Man, before I understood that I could use these for money because I didn't want to look at it, I didn't want to look at my money, I realized, whoa, I am provided for. And it was put in some very difficult situations, including like not having a place to stay when I was in Miami, and like walking out of an abusive relationship, and just source provided, because I built this relationship with the provision of God first, and then I brought it into my business. But when we realize we're provided for, we're not thinking about money. We're not worrying about money. We're like, yeah, I want to study with that teacher because they have key codes and I want to learn from them. And there is something there for me that's going to allow me to help other people. That's now how I think. It's not like, oh, can I afford it? When I know my soul is like, yes, you're supposed to learn from this person. Or yes, you're supposed to work with this business coach. Or yes, you're supposed to work with this healing mentor. And so we got to have it all. But we have to understand that we're abundant. And that is the work of the body and the soul. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Well, it's good that we're having this conversation today, because I've had to spend a fair amount of money today, honestly. I went up to New York City and I gave my car, because I haven't done any maintenance on my car for like 2 years and I needed to do it. So I gave it to the Acura dealer, and then I had to spend over $1,000 to go obviously get my car back today. So that was like, and a few years ago I probably would have been freaking out around spending that money. But I was like, this is like, I need this money. Like, I believe that I will be supported through this money. And then I also like was investing in a sponsorship for this community in Miami called Miami Made. Like, that's going to create a bigger partnership with the founder of that. And it's like, okay, well, spending this money will create a bigger connection and help us work together more. So I think the bigger thing is like even though like I know this stuff and I've been working on this stuff for years, I think I do have some type of soul imprint that I'm working through too. Because like sometimes even when you're talking a little bit, I can feel fear coming through my body occasionally. So it's learning how to not like, do you have any tips for the audience on like clearing that fear when you think about money, when you go into your bank account and you see that it has more than you have money to pay off and all these things? Like it's scary.
I'm just briefly interrupting the episode for a giddy-worthy announcement. I am so excited to share that Quantum Coding Community, a vortex where miracles are standard, where we come together in unity to create, to compound our frequency, and to really understand the bridge between the science and the spirituality of the quantum activations that we do in the container. This container is only $38 a month, which is literally insane for the value you're getting. With the masterclass every single month, the quantum activation, if you have tried these, you know how powerful they are. And if you haven't, you're in for a treat. We also have a Voxer community for celebration and community support. And we meet live the third Sunday of every single month at 3 p.m. EST. If you cannot make the live calls, yes, they are recorded, and you will have the recordings for the months that you are a part of the community for lifetime access. Just dream with me for a second. Wouldn't it be fun if you knew how to command your thoughts, for them to become your reality? Wouldn't it be amazing if miracles were a standard part of your life? This is a standard for my clients and I, and this is a standard in the vortex. 2 miracles that happened this week with quantum coding are manifesting winning a piece of quantum technology worth thousands of dollars that I really desired and intended for. And due to frequency, not luck, I was the winner of that. and then facilitating the healing of somebody's spine with scoliosis, which is literally a miracle. I used quantum coding to realign her spine. So this technique and formula that I created after being certified in 13 noteworthy modalities has allowed me to facilitate so many miracles like this. If you have not seen these miracle videos, or if you have not seen the testimonials, I will link them in the show notes. And I am inviting you for this to be your reality, a reality where miracles are a standard, and you are in deep gratitude for the life that you have created and are creating. Greater levels of prosperity, amazing friendships, amazing tribe in the community is the best tribe ever. Phenomenal relationships, dream jobs, and so much more. I see the universe orchestrating everything in your favor. I see days full of synchronicities and miracles for you. And even if you can't see it yet, I see that for you. So if you are feeling excited, because I am so giddy for you, I invite you to join the quantum coding community at only $38 a month for this monthly membership. I'm sending you so much love, so much light. And without further ado, let's go back to the show.
So it can be scary, and what I will say a few things. Firstly, again, the somatic work. If anybody's interested, I have a shamanic breathwork actually on Thursday. It's online. It's 11:30 a.m. That is my favorite way to move energy and transmute this fear through the body, because the core healing that happens in that is next level. It's only $222. You get a mini card reading as well, and the replay is available for 2 weeks because some people can't come. Which time zone? PST, 11:30 a.m. PST. It'll be about 2 hours. You can check out my testimonials on my testimonial Instagram, or you can DM me. I have a link to 31 video testimonials on YouTube. That is by far if you're in fear about money, there's nuances, but if you're still in deep fear about it, what I would say is start with the shamanic breath work. I also have shamanic breath work in all of my courses. All of my signature courses, I should say, because I do have like a mini course on money on my website. But like Surrendering into Abundance, which will open again in October, because we do have some live calls, as well as there's like 20 hours of transmissions and activations already. We're doing shamanic breathwork as well for that live. There's already 2 recorded in there, but I like to do them live because as I expand and my gifts expand, the healings get deeper. You're very welcome, Ellie. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So I get it. And again, that is the relationship that you've had with money. So there's an imprint there. There's a deep core trauma with not feeling provided for. So this goes much deeper than just, oh, awesome, you joined. This goes much deeper than just money. You're actually there's an energetic of not feeling provided for by source, by God.
Yeah. This
is the deep healing with the masculine energy of the world. And so I don't say God in a religious sense. I'm not religious, but I'm deeply spiritual. It is the divine masculine energy of the cosmos, essentially. The divine feminine energy of the cosmos is the earth. So different frequencies. When we have events, whether we're in utero, I've gone back to utero and done deep healing there, or when we're young, 0 to 7, those events basically write the blueprint for the rest of our life until we go and heal those traumas. In that period, we're only mimicking our parents, distortions, traumas. We're reflecting things for our parents to learn a soul lesson. If they learn it and they shift, we will shift, and we will no longer carry that blueprint. If they don't, we will take that on for our life, and now it is our job to shift it for the lineage, if we so choose. Another thing that's super, super important for you to understand and everybody to understand is if you've got $1 million right now, it's not going to take that fear away. It's only going to amplify it, because money is an amplifier. When I had my first $68,000 month, I had done a lot of work on this, created a much better relationship, but all the distortions that were in my unconscious came up. Money's also energy. We have to learn how to hold it. That's nervous system expansion. So it's, people think that more money is going to dissolve the fear. And what I know to be true, because I've also worked with multimillionaires, is that more money only amplifies the fear. I know billionaires, I haven't worked with them as clients, but I know billionaires personally who have so much fear around money. I know multi-millionaires who have a way worse relationship with money than I do. And I live much more abundantly than them because they hoard. Now, hoarding is fear, is scarcity, it's contraction. You can't be in contraction and expansion. This is why it's connected to the soul expansion, love, and abundance at the same time. Naturally, our base frequency is love. It is expansion. We are constant. The soul constantly wants to expand, and that is the energy of abundance. Now, the traumas are what distort those patterns in the field and that frequency. That's why the core trauma healing is so important. So I would say if you can come to that, or you can watch the replay within 2 weeks, that's going to be profoundly healing to shift that on a core DNA level. And to really understand that that these imprints, like I said, when we get into a romantic relationship, or when we start to call in massive amounts of abundance that we haven't before, these imprints are amplified. So it's like when you're in a relationship, say you have a fear of abandonment, and you're single and you're like, I'm good, and you get into a relationship, whoa, that fear of abandonment, so long as you love the other person, is going to come up to be transmuted. It will be amplified. So this is why I love like the breath work, the shamanic breath work. And I use like quantum frequencies in it as well. And trauma healing, I've studied many types of trauma healing. That's the core for everything. To manifest anything, it's the core for relationships, for abundance, because those imprints are running your life unconsciously. Now, once you've done some of that, you've done core healing, then you can start to look at the nuances. Okay, I have a fear, maybe not of money, but I have a fear of tax. How is that actually stopping me from making more money? How can I actually shift that, alchemize that, and maybe find ways to like invest where you're now donating some of that money to charity, so you're paying less taxes. Instead of going to taxes, it's going to charity. You feel good about that. Okay, so these are nuances. But again, the core healing has to be done first. The other thing I would say is, I get it, because it was so funny. I was talking with one of my teachers, and I was doing work specifically on abundance. And I'm like, hey, there's lots of abundance that's come through the business. I've learned to be like a channel for this, but I want to start building now, because eventually like I want to invest in healing centers and many other things. And I'm like, I want to start building wealth, which is different than understanding energetics of abundance. It's a different nuance. And so all of a sudden, all of these things started coming up. I lost my key. Which it was attached to my bike key. I had to pay for the guy to come cut my bike lock, and then pay for it was like $500. And then I got locked in my bank before paying taxes, so I had to pay an extra 5%. I'm like, what is going on? And it was weird, because in the past I would have had a fucking anxiety attack. I used to have anxiety attacks looking at my bank account years ago. And so I'm like, okay, interesting, what's going on here? And I will tell you guys, there has been times that I've like had next to nothing in my bank account, and I'm like, okay, 20 grand for this thing. And I'm so calm about it. And the money always comes, and it always comes in a way of ease and grace. In the past, it wouldn't have come because I was in so much anxiety about it. And now I know, I'm like, hey, I've manifested like big months, and I know I can do that again. And I have. because I'm grounded, because the more grounded we are, the more abundance we can hold, the more wealth we can hold. It's a root chakra. It's connected directly with safety. So I'm just like looking at this like data, because everything's a reflection of what's going on inside, and basically they're incidental. So as we start to like grow and alchemize, if we're about to up level, we'll get these incidentals as feedback, and you can pull like 10% out of everything you make, and like that becomes like the incidentals. So anyways, these are like really intricate energetics, but it's like the universe is showing, when we start to do this work, the universe often shows us where the fears are, so we have an opportunity to shift the pattern. Just like in relationship, the traumas will come up, and if you have a partner who's in this work, who is devoted to helping you repattern and devoted to the relationship, in that, okay, I'm like having this fear of abandonment, you share that with them, they're going to hold you in that, it's going to repattern that coding from childhood. Now we can do this without that in a shamanic breathwork ceremony. And then in my course, I also have like different tools to work through it yourself. Very specific. It's a very specific process to shift and alchemize a core belief on like a visceral level. But I would say that the core healing you should do first, because it goes deeper. And then for nuances, you can use these other ones, or just to deepen it. Because like I would rather, because I've understood so many levels of this, and I'm always learning, there's always a new level, but I would say it's better to actually do the core healing first before you're making the millions or the billions or whatever, because it's like 10, if you 10x your income, you're 10xing your whole life. So all the areas of fear or shame or guilt or addiction or whatever, it's going to 10x that.
Yeah.
So if you can heal and shift and alchemize that first, that's actually going to be so much more productive, because then once you're like, you're 10xing your income, then you're at a place where it's like 10xing the good things more so than the traumas. And most people, and this is why I said it doesn't work for just calling and stuff for an ego perspective, they're trying to call in and create worthiness with money or with income instead. And when we do that, it only makes the unworthiness more. It's like when you're an actor and you want to book a big acting role. I used to be an actor. And you're like, this is going to make me feel worthy. And then you book the role and you're super excited for like a day. And you're like, fuck, I feel worse about myself. Why? Because the thing can't heal the trauma. You heal the trauma, and then ironically, you book more roles. You get more money. You have the relationship. You're magnetizing, but you don't need it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So this is where, again, like the core healing is so important, and then the calling in the energetics and the unconscious rewiring of like, oh, why do the movies all tell me that money is like dirty or money is bad or whatever? And you trace the thread and you look at who runs the movie industry and blah blah blah. And then you start to reprogram that and create a beautiful relationship with money, an intimate one where you feel and you know, because you have embodied wisdom, it's in the body, that you are provided for. And the universe will often give us these opportunities to be like, oh, I am provided for. Oh, I remember when I was like in really my boss babe energy, my boss babe energy, and I'm like, I don't need help, I don't need assistance, I can do everything myself, adrenal fatigue, all the things. And Source was like trying to put me in a situation where it was like, just freaking relax. And it was like the moment I relaxed, all this abundance came, and I was like, shit. And this happened like a few weeks ago. Like I was trying to get everything done because I was in Sedona for an event, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm so like, I just like need a day off. And like the day before the event, I just took the day off. And like the next day I had a $4,000 day unexpectedly. And I was like, super cool. Awesome. Thank you. And then the day after that, I had another $2,000 day. And this was like unexpected. It wasn't like money that I was already expecting from like private clients or whatever that are on plans. It was like, oh, here. And then I manifested a first class ticket back for free.
There you go.
And I was like, shit. But that was the energetic of like, Jill, you're getting into that energy again. Go back and there has to be a balance. It's not just let's be in our feminine, I believe. Okay. There's nuances to this, but not just like I'm gonna be in my feminine and flow and whatever, and not have development in our masculine or structures in the business or like team in the business or processes. That also needs to be developed, because here's the nuance that most people won't tell you with like people who are teaching abundance to women of just being in your feminine. If you don't feel safe, aka if you haven't developed your inner masculine, that structure, those boundaries, speaking truth, then that's what you're going to develop on the outside. You're going to develop a mirror of not feeling safe. You're going to develop a mirror of just feeling like you need to provide, you need to rely on everybody else and not actually on source. Because I don't know about anybody else, but I don't want to ever feel like I have to rely on like anybody else, because our abundance comes from source. And I remember being in an abusive relationship and be like, fuck, how do I leave? I don't have the resources. I'm literally going to be like, that's when I left and I was homeless in Miami for a few hours. And then I manifested a place to stay for a few weeks, like a beautiful, like crypto mansion that had like a temple on to feed the fish. But it was source. I made that choice of I'm no longer tolerating this type of relationship. And then source provided from that place. But that is when I was like, okay, Jill, it's time to like dig in to your money wounds and your money traumas. And it was some of the deepest healing because it was correlated with some deep stuff from childhood. But I was like, I never want to feel like I have to rely on a partner, or I never want to feel like I have to rely on a certain job, because COVID happened, lost my jobs at that time. And then that's when I started my healing business. But another time I broke my arm, and those jobs I was serving and I was doubling on Sabrina, like a TV show. I lost those jobs. I had zero income, and then I had to live on my grandpa's couch. Like, so it was like these times where I was like, I need to understand these. Now I'm at a place where I'm like, I don't rely on any particular client. I don't even rely specifically on my business. I don't rely on any investment. Who's made a bad investment that's tanked? Definitely me. Bunch of crypto money, don't know where it went. Like, I don't rely on anything specific, because I know source is the abundance comes from source, and it comes through funnels, and I have embodied experience. But I couldn't have those funnels open to me when I had so much trauma that was running the pattern of I'm not provided for, I'm not safe, the masculine is dangerous. The masculine is what provides, not necessarily a man. The masculine energy of the world, God, source, generating or organizing, delivering energy. That's the energy of God. But when you have fears with the masculine and trauma with the masculine.
I am back. I just wanted to give you a little bit more context about what the quantum coding community is. So it is a powerful vortex where you sit back and I use my gifts and my own unique process of quantum coding to code your energetic body to higher frequencies. Now, each month, these frequencies compound. The frequencies that, say, are encoded in your DNA and energy body in January will then recalibrate your whole body by the next month. That will compound with the ones on top. Our frequency is our currency. So as you become encoded to higher frequencies, you'll manifest more wealth, greater health, phenomenal relationships. Have you been looking for your soulmate? These frequencies will literally allow you to become an energetic match to your dream partner with more ease. And you will seemingly have become, quote unquote, lucky. But we know it's not luck, it's frequency, which literally creates miracles. So one more time, I am inviting you to Quantum Coding Community at only $38 a month, which is literally insane because people pay high 4 figures, sometimes 5 figures for containers of this standard. And this time is so crucial for us to all rise into greater frequencies. So this is my offering to you so that you can come heal, to thrive, up level, and create your dream life. The link is in the show notes. And without further ado, let's go back to the show.
You don't develop it within yourself, that masculine like, I got me, and source, and then with source has me. That co-creation is
Right.
like higher level stuff, super Instagram, but nuances. But so I hope it's making sense because there's so much more to explain with this. But that is where I would start, and then it's a constant evolution in my experience. Like, some people say new level, new devil. I hate that, but it's like, where's my soul wanting to grow? Where am I not honoring my soul? Where do I have a pattern that's not serving me? Where am I getting out of balance? Where don't I have my own back? If we don't feel like source has our own back, or if we feel like our clients are just like, they're like, oh, I'm going to sign up, and then they don't. Where don't we have our own back? What other area of life do I not have my own back? Oh. Or if a partner doesn't have our own back, same thing. There's this energetic somewhere else. And this is where it's like, oh, my soul is wanting to expand and it's teaching me a soul lesson. Where's the soul lesson? How can I look at this when we're so in fear and trauma? We're not going to look at it. Once we start to alchemize that, how can I look at this gift of this reflection, learn the soul lesson, and shift it? And then the reality shifts. Thanks for mentioning Big G, pride comes before the fall, and we get back to our basic, big God, pride comes before the fall, and we get back to our basically enjoying more trauma. Huh? I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I can't see, for some reason for me, I can't see the comments. It's just not showing up for me, but that's okay.
Pride comes before the fall. So pride, I mean, I have a lot to say about pride, but this work, if you're doing it from the soul, is actually really humbling. It's not about ego. It's not about pride. It's not about I'm better than. That's all the old construct, and that's what actually entraps people. And that is actually a pattern of scarcity. That is not abundance. It's hard times. Sometimes, for sure, I'm feeling the stress right now. Money isn't coming fast enough out of a horrible relationship. I can't afford anything, but I know I can't give up. Okay, so what I'll say, Kyle, love you. Good to see you. Is your words or your wand. They're literally spells. So if you're saying I can't afford it, your reticular activating system is literally going to look for all the reasons why you can't. That's going to become your reality. So if we can shift that thought pattern, which is based in the belief has to be shifted through the deep trauma core healing, but shifting the thought pattern to, okay, how can I afford it? How can I be creative? Look, I have a dear sister that I'm helping out because I just felt the call to, and she's going through some stuff, and I'm just like, hey, or somebody else, we're doing a similar thing. She was like, I want to do this, this course. I know it would provide value. I'm in this situation. Would you be open to doing this trade? We figured out something that I'm like, yeah, actually, I literally was like trying to manifest that. Not specifically the trade, but the trade that we're doing. And so like I wanted to go write my book up in Whistler. She has a beautiful place. And so it's like where are you resourced is what I would say. Kyle, start to look for where you are resourced. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food? I say this from a place and time of literally not having a roof over my head at one point. And so it's like, where are you resourced? And start to notice that, and then see what skills do you have? How can you do trades for this? Like, if you're worrying so much about there's not enough, you're missing every place you're resourced. And that the law of focus, that is what you're going to manifest more of. But if you start to focus on where you are resourced, where you are provided for, it can be so small. Do you have water? Do you have a phone? You're watching this. You are one of the wealthiest people in the world. For everybody watching this, you're one of the wealthiest people in the world because you have a phone. Do you know how many people don't have phones in other countries? Most of the population information.
Oh.
Anyway, sorry, little rant there.
Good.
Patrick, you were saying something.
No, I mean that's a big part of the program, and I want to continue writing down all of the things that I do have. I have so much. We have honestly everything set up. I spent the years putting all these resources together. So shifting that last little bit of my own thought pattern. So I'm excited to see your manifestation, the 3-day workshop. I actually have to go in about 5 minutes or a little less. So let's talk about that and like what people can learn, so that they feel like that's going to help make that shift for them.
Absolutely, it will. It's 222 as we're saying this.
There we
At
go.
least over. Yeah. So if you guys want to learn more, again, on October 7th, 8th, and 9th, I'm doing a free, it's free, and we are going to do some repatterning work there with energies to find and shift some of these imprints. A free 3-day master series on soul aligned abundance. This is really for the people who want to create, again, soul aligned abundance so that they are provided for. They can have the highest quality food, they can have support in their business, so that you can have, even like traveling like in more comfort. Like if you're like, dang, I want to travel business class, because like it is going to allow you to rest so that you can go and make a bigger impact, whether you're a healer, whether you're a speaker, whether you run physio offices, like whatever it is. Please come to that, check it out. It's free. You'll have the replays for 3 days. And if you want to dig deeper after that, I have resources for that. Again, the shamanic breathwork is Thursday. If you're interested, 11:30 a.m. If you can't make it live, I'm going to bring your soul's blueprint in for the healing. So you'll get the healing on the replay, as well as a mini card reading for soul guidance of like where you can enter, like where the soul is calling you, basically, essentially, to grow, and a nugget of what the lesson is with that. What I find with people teaching abundance or money is like some people are teaching it very through ego. I'm not really about that vibe because it's based in trauma, and I'm not here to help people build up their ego so that they can be better than anybody. I'm here to help people who really want to expand on a soul level, create massive abundance, whatever that is for you, that will be for the greatest good of you, your family, everybody close to you, and all involved. So like really the visionaries and the leaders of stepping into the new earth, because I see so many of them trapped in scarcity. It's crazy the amount of healers I know who are like, oh my God, and the guilt, and it's all a trap. And the biggest thing is like, some people are just teaching these things. Like we're here, I'm talking and teaching, but like with my work, I really go into the core healing. I really go into the somatic work and the unconscious work. And I have activations for this. I have the shamanic breath work. I have transmissions to understand the energetics and processes. But I've never seen anybody bridge like with like quantum energy activations and calling in activations. That's one of my biggest gifts, that and like the deep core healing that I usually do with shamanic breath work, but I utilize 13 modalities based on what people need. So that's really what sets my work apart, is like bridging the gap from like the teachings, but also the facilitation of the deep trauma healing, rewiring those patterns from a cellular level, and the traumas that are, by the way, not just affecting your abundance, but they're probably affecting all of your relationships, because how we are in one area is how we are in all areas in unconscious ways. And honestly, just really coming back to love, and then being able to focus on their mission and not having to worry about money. So that is what I love teaching on, and also more so even facilitating, because I could just like teach all day, but until the core healing is done and like the subconscious work with like activations and the recoding, nothing shifts. So that's what sets my work apart, and that's what we're going to be doing in the 3-day workshop. We'll do both teachings. I'll share stories and experiences of energetics, because I'm part Native American. Storytelling is one of my favorite ways to teach. And then we will be doing some recoding and imprint work. We won't be doing the shamanic breathwork in that, but if you want to do that, please come on Thursday or purchase the replay. Or you can also, I also do one-on-one sessions, or you can join Surrendering into Abundance when it's reopened. We'll be doing live shamanic breathwork then. But definitely come to the workshop, the free masterclasses first, because I'll be explaining more about surrendering to abundance, what it is, sharing some wins with you guys from participants that have created miracles. Miracles. So, yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Well, yeah, check out her profile. Check out the link in my bio to join that 3-day masterclass series. And yeah, that's what we're all here to do, is help people step into that abundance so that they can live out their soul mission. They can live out a life that they love, as well as also make an impact in the world. And that's like what we're working on together. And I feel like finally people are starting to work on together, helping each other grow, helping each other expand. And it really is happening. And I feel like we're just at this like 2 millimeter shift where everything is going to like have a really massive impact that's coming.
100%. Things are shifting so quickly, and this is it. It gets to be, I'm only here for win-wins. Win. It's a win for all, or it's not a win at all. If it's just a win-lose, that is the old paradigm. That is ego. That is pride. That is like trying to cover up a wound, quite honestly, for people that feel not good enough and that think that them being better is going to be good enough. No, we're not here for that, but we are here for the highest quality of everything. Massive abundance. In order to really shift the world, you need resources. One of my teachers is his intention, and it's so pure, is for his business to impact half of the world and to be a $1 trillion business of only helping people. Because if we don't have resources, the impact is so minimal to what it could be.
Absolutely.
And so I'm just so excited for all of you that come to that. And yeah, check out the link if you're watching this on Patrick's page, in his bio. If you're watching on mine, it's in my bio. And we'll see you guys there.
Sounds good. I think somebody's going to call me in a minute, so I got to drop. But we'll see you very soon. And yeah, check out the links. Talk to you guys soon.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye, Patrick.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with anyone and everyone that you think would benefit from it. Share it on your social media and tag me at Jill Alana Nixon so I can hear what breakthroughs and insights you got. If you really enjoyed this, I would really appreciate if you wrote a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you do this and you email my team, JillAlanaNixon@gmail.com, we'll link it in the show notes, I will send you a cord-cutting transmission that is only available through this avenue, so that you can clear out people, places, habits, or situations that are no longer in alignment with your highest good, and call back your power. Thank you so much, and have the most beautiful, blessed day.